Hunter, and I am in the Ozarks, the middle of the heartland of the United States, and so excited to be celebrating this day with all of you. It's a big day in my life. In fact, woo, woo, woo.
So awesome. Tamika, introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. My name is Tamika Soto, and I'm here so happy and proud that I can make it to this event because let me tell you, it's raining outside, and we had some things planned to go see the fireworks this year. But we're making the fireworks here in the house. We're gonna go ahead and play, that Hoover hockey on the table. My son and I. That's how we're gonna celebrate our day today.
Excellent. Veronica and Aaron, all the way from California, Southern California.
Hello,
How are
I'm
you?
Veronica Mendez, and we're here in San Diego, California.
And I'm Aaron Garcia, and we're just blessed to be here with you, see with everybody here on the show here. And we're overlooking the bay right now for the fireworks. We're going to see later on and get a full panoramic view. So you hear a little background noise. We're outside. It's nice and windy out here, so we're happy to be.
That's awesome. And Tim Zimmerman, how are you, brother?
I'm good, thank you. CEO and founder of SM3success.com. I help people, especially old souls, chosen ones, all of those individuals that want to overcome the negative effects or negative mind stuff from this life, but also from all of their soul lives. So that's what I do.
That's so awesome. And I want to come back to you in just a moment because, Tim, I do have your video and I would love to play that for people. Ruben, it's been a little bit of time, but I am so grateful that you are here. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm here in Houston, Texas. We just got done cooking steaks on the grill, my girlfriend and I, and then I'm trying to talk her into going to.
Yeah, I'm having a little hard time hearing you.
All right, is that better?
Oh yeah, much better.
Yeah, just had to cook some steaks on the grill, and we're gonna go watch fireworks after this. I'm jealous of Veronica and Aaron because you guys have this. If you get a view of the San Diego Bay, I think you're gonna see like 6 fireworks displays, and they're all in unison, and they go into the music on the radio. Yeah, that's the best fireworks display in the country.
That is.
Right, it is. Well, and you have a personal story, most definitely, Ruben. I think what I'd like to try and do here is just like flip over that. I've got this on YouTube. That's where I've got it. So if you folks can bear with me, I'm going to do that. Let's bring that part on. I need to go over there, go to the YouTube, get her fired up, and here we go.
On this Veterans Day, the city of Edinburgh salutes all who proudly served in the military. Veterans like Reuben Red Lowing, whose dream of becoming a boxer led him to the Navy and ultimately to a long and valiant career as a Navy SEAL.
They needed a lifeguard on the base. And so I'm like, oh, I'll be a lifeguard. That'd be a great job. And so there was a Navy diver and a Navy SEAL that were putting us through our physical training and life saving and that. And I was the only one that could keep up with those guys in push-ups and running and all that. And so the Navy diver tried to recruit me into being Pete and PET scanning, tried to recruit me into being the diver. I'm like, to me, divers are all run mechanics. I didn't want to do that. I want to box. He goes, oh, go to the SEAL teams. They'll send you to the box team. I'll tell you, that's the hard way to do it, but that's what I did.
Lowing served as a combatant swimmer or SEAL, participating in numerous missions such as Operation Just Cause that collapsed the regime of General Manuel Noriega in Panama.
We were part of the mission on Paitilla Airfield. We were told that it would, be a walk in the park, and we trained for like 3 years to do that mission. And right before we hit the beach, an hour before we hit the beach, they changed the whole plan. And so now they wanted us to cut the valve stems of the Noriega's plane with wire cutters and deflate the tires because they showed the plan to the newly elected president, Guillermo Andorra. He's like, oh no, we want to use that plane. One of our guys shoots a HE, a 40mm grenade, and they're shutting the hangar door, and it just like through the eye of a needle and got in, boom, blew up the hangar. And then the shooting started.
When it was over, 4 men were killed and 8 were wounded. This was only one of the many missions Red participated in during his 8 years and 7 months of service. His certificate of release or discharge from active duty cites numerous recognitions and medals.
The one thing that I miss is the ability to get 16 guys all focused on the same thing at the same time, making it happen. That's like magic. That's like nothing. There's no civilian equivalent. Period.
So on this special day, to recognize and honor our veterans, Red tells us what Veterans Day means to him.
Memorial Day, Veterans Day, 4th of July. I'm gonna be like, oh, it's not about barbecues and picnics and whatever. I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of like that distraction because I really don't like crying. When the story of the Francis Scott Key coming up with the national anthem, right? He's out there and they kept, he's an envoy to, work on a treaty with the British, and they keep him captive, they keep him in his boat, and they're firing rockets at Fort McHenry. And they get these new rockets that are like airburst, and they're going to use those. And he promises to knock the flag down, take the flag down. And whenever they think they have a direct hit, they shoot these flares. And every time they do it, the flag's still standing. And that's what caused them to start writing the Star Spangled Banner. And in the morning, the flag was still there. And when they went to shore, he runs in the fort, and he sees a pile of dead patriots. Guys that ran in and held that flag up all night. And when that guy died, somebody else went in and took his place. Okay. That's what I saw with the guys I was in Panama with. It's hard.
Red, today and every day, the city of Edinburgh salutes you.
Okay, wow. That is super powerful.
Does that mean I don't have to talk anymore?
When I watched it earlier, it brought tears to my eyes, most definitely. It is a good story. And we need to remember that people have given their life for this freedom that we experience. And that story brings it home. That's a really, really, really wonderful. Thank you. You're so powerful. I remember when we met, I didn't know why, but it's like I just wanted to get to know you better. We've known each other for many years, I'd say 5 or so, or maybe longer. You have quite a story. You were a professional boxer. You were in the you were a Navy SEAL. Wow. Thank you, Ruben.
Well, that was half my life ago, right? It's been like 30 years since I got out. I'm 62 now. So a lot of things have happened. There's something that, like, I've been through some hard times.
Yeah. Lean forward a little bit so we can hear you a little bit better there, Ruben.
And I've been through some hard times, and it's just, I just, dig my way out of it. It's like, things are getting much better now. My wife died like 3.5 years ago. She died of cancer. That's, how I kind of connect with Tamara.
Right.
She was a big help. It was hard though. It was like, I'm a Navy SEAL. I think I can do anything. And when my wife got cancer, there was nothing I could do to slow it down. I felt helpless. It was, I couldn't get its attention, and
Right.
just had to watch it happen, and it was so hard. And
I did remember how we met. I saw you on a Toastmasters. And I was like, oh my goodness, you so well spoken, right? And then I got to know you better and more of your story, and it's so dynamic. It truly is. And I'm
I've been a
so glad.
Toastmaster off and on since like 1994.
Well, you introduced me to Louisa,
Oh yeah,
who, yeah, who was just on my show, but we had a little bit of a problem, but she's coming back. And she won she won number runner up in 2019. And then 2024, she was the overall international champion for Toastmasters. I mean, that's just really awesome, huh?
yeah. I just talked to her today, and she told me about her trip to Europe. She got to go there and talk to them all around. She'd like a whole tour of Europe. Got to speak to people, teaching her brand of public speaking.
Right. I know. I know why she won, because she's so good. Right?
Yes, she is.
Awesome. So I did want to round back up here with you, Tim. I mean, you really impressed me. We happened to meet each other on the Fab Five show. It was an Easter special. That was really awesome, and I'm very impressed by you as well. What I'd like to do is play your video. How do you like that? All right, so we can help to educate our customers and our customers, clients, about what you're doing, because that's what I try and do. I have this 501c3. We are a servant for the community. We want to help the viewers. Viewers, we love you. Truly. People
You're
like
going to play the whole hour video?
No. 1 minute,
That's a
53
joke.
seconds.
That's a joke, everyone.
1 minute, 53 seconds. I'm going to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to speak to. So yeah, I was really impressed with you, and I was just saying, my focus is this: is that I have a referral center. I know people like Ruben, like Tim, like Veronica, like Tamika, like Tamara, that I can refer people that come to me that we need answers to help them, and they need answers, and then you can help them, and that's one of my goals. So let's just listen to what you have to say.
Okay. Hi, Tim Zimmerman here, CEO and founder of SM3Success.com. For the last 45 years, I have sought, found, and practiced success techniques, both modern and ancient, to be able to use to increase success in all aspects of your life, including mind control, controlling your own mind, controlling your own thoughts, controlling your own belief system. Remember, as you believe in your heart, it is done unto you. Well, I've found ways to overcome the negative belief systems that we have had implanted in us throughout childhood, not only for this life, but I've also developed ways to overcome in your soul consciousness negatives that you've accumulated in previous lives and past lives. So I look forward to working with you in this call. And one of the things that I thought was interesting was I came up with a Google definition of renewal, which states it's the state or process of being made spiritually new in the Holy Spirit. So that would be neat. That would be a miracle, wouldn't it? If we all could be renewed even more in the Holy Spirit and God. So I look forward to talking with you and having a discussion. Thanks so much.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, you're so dynamic and you know so much history and stuff. I know that some of it might not apply here, but a lot of it does because um, freedom, we have to get free in our minds first, don't we? Yeah.
Right. So in thinking about this conversation tonight, and talking about freedom, you know, we're all chained to our past. Our negative beliefs, negative self judgments, negative dramas, traumas, negative experiences, all
Mm.
of that type of thing is what continues to create the patterns, especially the negative patterns in our lives. And when you look at um, how we were raised, and then how our mothers and fathers were raised, and how their parents were raised, and so on and so forth. All of that has continued to create this pattern of negativity, and there's some positive stuff for sure, but the negativity stuff, if we were able to remove that and replace that with positive, then what would our life be like? It would be
Mhm.
more positive. And
Exactly.
we can now go into our past lives, previous lives, all the way back to the birth of an of your soul, back through to the here and now, and into the future of this life and any other future lives, all the way into the forever future to eternity, and find out what negatives are there, and then remove them and replace them with the positives. So that's the work that I do now, and it's incredible.
That is incredible. And I am learning a lot more about that type of thing spiritually and the power of uh, our journey. I mean, we can do a lot of things with life, and this is temporary here, anyways. We don't last forever. But I do know that Veronica was
Well,
having.
actually, we do. Wait, we do last forever.
Well,
So we
well,
are
eternally,
a
yes.
divine, eternal soul. So when we leave this life, when we have death in this life, we are going to go on. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
that's just part of our being a divine, ever living soul. So
I
the
agree.
thing that I found is that when we can get rid of the negatives from this life and really all lives, then that you as a soul can spring forth. Basically, you can shine brightly because you don't have all of that negative stuff that's hindering you.
Exactly. And I guess I forgot to say we won't live forever here on Earth, right? And it's just a
A
human form.
little bit of a distinction there.
There is just a tad. Thank you for clarifying that for us. Veronica and Aaron, thank you so very much for being here. We want to
Thank you
make
for
sure that you're
having
here
us.
before you lose your power and you're gone.
Yeah.
I think we found some, so we should be good for a while. Hopefully.
Oh, good. That's wonderful.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
So, what would you say that the having freedom means to you?
I thought about this question, and it's kind of piggybacking what Tim was saying is, it's like we have our rights and everything here in this country, in this world, but really it's we have the freedom to choose. We have the freedom to think our own thoughts, and I think that's when we are able to tap into and understand what it is that we're focusing on, what we're doing. We have the right to choose. We have to learn how to use that power. But I feel like just gratitude and be able to have that free will to think freely, I think is a very blessed gift that we all have as human beings.
Awesome. Awesome. And I just got to say this, Veronica, because I love seeing the posts on your cakes. I mean, I don't know anybody else that can make a cake like you do. It's like, wow.
Thank you.
I'm sure you make a lot of people happy. I
I
really
hope
am.
so.
So I guess maybe we lost Tim, which I totally understand. And if you guys need to go, you can absolutely, because being here in the first place is like, oh, here he is. We'll bring him right back on. Oh, you're good. Okay, I didn't know what happened. Thank you. Um, yeah, we were talking about Veronica's cakes, but no, actually, Veronica, you are an empath, and this is your specialties, both yourself and Aaron, and that's how you help people too. And so that's about freedom as well, right? From the aspect of freeing your mind from the past stuff, like Tim was talking about, right?
Yes. Yeah, and the way I see it, like a lot of people think that being an empath is like a curse because like I'm able to feel other people's emotions, their energy. Also, sometimes if they're carrying elements in their body, sometimes I'll feel it on myself, and I don't hang on to it. So I allow myself to feel it and just let it go. And when it comes to freedom, we do have the right and freedom to think, but I also think freedom goes a little deeper. It's how you think. It's like how they were mentioning thinking positive. If you're constantly thinking negative, you're really not free because you're trapped. You're trapped in that negativity. So when you can let go of the negativity and just trying to see the world from a different lens, and
Hmm.
and then that's when true freedom uh, comes into place because you're no longer worried about what other people think about you. You're not, you're not like confined in the mind and stressed about all these different things. And if there's something outside of you that you can't control, that's and you're getting worked up about it. That's where you're more confined and not really free. But when you're able to let that go, it's very powerful.
Hmm. It is. And that's what I think I want to see for so many people is their ability to just start enjoying their everyday life. And what I'm realizing is that yes, it takes a whole lot of work to get there, because we have set ourselves in certain beliefs, and these beliefs are subconscious, and how that is really what runs the whole show is the subconscious films, just like replaying, and it's a matter of making sure we have the right information in our brain, and that's really awesome, and you can help the viewers with that. So we certainly ask you folks, reach out to us. That's why we're here, is to celebrate Independence Day. And I'm going to save Tamara for last because she's so powerful, and we'll wait for her in just a moment. And I want to introduce you, though, to Tamika. And I recently met you, Tamika, not that long ago, but I'm just so amazed by how compassionate and wonderful, and the great things that you post. And you have the Soto School, micro school, and so maybe you can tell us a little bit about what you're doing and how you can help the viewers, and I'm sure all of us here on this show.
Well, I thank you. I thank you. I would like to speak for just one moment in agreeing with Tim and Veronica and Aaron when it comes down to freedom and independence. That's one of the reasons why I even decided to join in today, because I knew that it was going to be more than just, like you guys said, barbecues and family gatherings.
Hmm.
I believe in the independence of knowing who's greater in us and building that connection and relationship with your spirit. Once our flesh is gone, all we have left is the spirit. But we had the spirit first. It's the real way and reason how we even got knitted in our mother's wombs, how we came about, from being in that water sack to being able to breathe and needing, sustained with the air that we breathe. So I connect a lot with the nature. And so the freedom of being able to wake up every single day and actually connect with my creator, and throughout my day, every single day, that's why I love to journal. What we talk about before I even put my feet on the ground gets lived throughout the day, down to a leaf. Like today, it was a cheeseburger. I know it sounds crazy, but I like to do periodic fasts, right? And that's how I know by if it's time for me to get off a fast, because when you're a parent and you got a lot going on in your life, there's things that can get in the way and take you off your task, you know.
Hmm.
But my main focus daily is my spirit, feeding my spirit, staying in tune with my spirit, because I don't know when I'm not going to have this flesh anymore. But I do know when
Right.
once it falls, I'm not going to be a slug on the ground with my hand up high. I'm going to immediately soar, and not just with wings, but with effort and power that was already invested in me upon the knitting in my mother's womb, because I chose my mother. I chose this life, and I chose the struggles and the wins of this
Mhm.
life. And therefore, where I'm going next is going to be even more brighter, because in this lifetime right here, I broke so many chains. I broke so many patterns, and not just for myself, but for my children and their children and my mother and my father, everyone
Mhm.
that I come across. The presence of being is the knowing that we're all one. And so that for me is independence, being right
I just
now.
I
You
just
know,
wrote
that's
that
too.
actually about the oneness and how that is connection with everything, you
Yes.
know.
Mhm.
And that's so awesome that you said that. Of course, law of attraction, that's what's happening here. Um, I wanted to acknowledge Robert Brooker. He's coming to us from Canada. He is really awesome guy. And he's just saying hello to us all. So, hey, Robert.
Hey, Robert.
Yeah,
And
we
the
love you.
reason for the micro school,
Yes.
my son is 10 years old. He's not going to learn what I know in from a regular school. We've tried it before. He also, the time that I used to spend working hours on someone else's job, he wasn't learning what I need to teach him, because that's my youngest child out of my children. I have two older ones, and I have three grands and one on the way. But my Facebook pages, my Instagram, everything that I do that everyone can share, those are keepsakes for those that I leave behind, because sometimes people don't know how to get to the level of connection that I'm in. And once
Right.
this flesh is gone, I'll still be able to connect, because I made it so real here in present life. You know,
Was the
that's
micro
the
school
thing of yes,
was the micro
yes.
school a result of the COVID situation where your kids couldn't go to school and then or
No,
what?
it was actually in 2022. I had a vision board, and I am all about educating myself, because I really never had anyone sit down to teach me anything. So I
Okay.
taught myself, and so God has always played a major role in my life by coming to me, because I've been able to hear since the age of 10. And
Wow.
empath, I that there, me too. Like we all are if we really
Yes,
tune
we
in.
all.
And so it's just wanting to teach. When I was little, the teacher would ask me, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I used to say teacher. But as I got older, I didn't want to be a teacher. I wasn't looking for being a teacher, but I am that.
Yeah.
We all are in some way, form,
So
or fashion. So the
yeah,
microscope came about just so I can really, really dive into the
for
future
yourself,
with
it
my
sounds like.
family.
Yeah, so for yourself, and then you want to share that with others, and that just
Yes.
makes so much sense. I think everybody, well, we all have a story, and when we share, well, for me, it was like, my poor choices allowed me to learn the lessons that I learned so that I could be here talking on this broadcast and sharing, hey, you don't have to like hate your life and you don't have to feel sorry for yourself. And, life is really good when you get to the point with the skills that we've been talking about today.
Mhm.
Um, Tamara, I love you so much. You're so awesome.
Oh, thank you.
And you have the Fab Five show that's weekly every Sunday, um, 3 o'clock my time. So that's like noon out. Oh no, you are in the mountains now. That's right. I was going back to California.
Right, right. Yeah, San Diego, California. When you guys were talking about San Diego, that's where I was born and raised. So I'm like, oh, I know that hill. I know that view. And, as you were talking, and Ruben and I have talked a lot about the San Diego days, because he's also kicked his feet on that soil there for a while too. And, Thank you,
And actually, so,
Stephen.
so did I. So
Oh, that's right.
just
I
so
know.
you
I
guys
was
know.
thinking. Yeah, I was thinking that you had, and yeah, you're in the Vegas days now, but yes, and so there's a connection here, and Stephen, love you too, and thank you for inviting me on this day because it is a big day for. And as I was listening to everybody, I'm like, oh, yes, absolutely. Check, 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 check. Because, the generational patterns and everything that goes back in my family to the 4th of July. My family actually, I can trace, I have it, it's verified. My genealogy way past the Mayflower, of which, yeah, my family came over on that, like it or not, but that is, and, many were involved in the Revolutionary War. Many, I was looking at how many generations or how many people within the generation that would have hit the time of the Declaration of Independence, the history of it all. And the thing that I did with my kids as they were growing up is that when they were taking history and they were learning about this period of time and the freedom that we enjoy, I wanted them to also see who in our family was possibly kicking around during that time so that they could learn the stories through history that the class was learning, but also the personal history of their family and being there. And that goes back to, it's the Let's Talk Fabulous show that's on E360 TV, Thresh Takes channel. And yes, and we've been doing the legacy series, and Skip did the legacy song, and it's all about the idea of what we are living today becomes the history of tomorrow. And when we look at what's been talked about here about the generational patterns, about even past lives, all of it, I want to encourage us to also think about the fact that those that lived during the time when they stepped up and they weren't necessarily looking to step up, but they knew they didn't want to live in a repressed situation. They stood up. Many of them were young kids, and they said, okay, we know we can be now we call it the land of the free because of the brave. They were brave souls. And when we look at the history of them, that's a larger human family history. So we can look at our soul's history, past lives, the past lives of the history of our family members. And something that was said by you, Tim, about, the fact that the patterns, and overcoming even some of the negative patterns, I want to say I was very fortunate to be raised by family that had some positive patterns that really taught us to not just be grateful and go to the parties and go to the parades and have the barbecues, but to actually serve, to continue to make a difference here in our home of the free because of the brave. And they instilled that. It wasn't just an option, it was a part of our DNA, was a part of what we were raised on. And so this day, a day where we look back and we say thank you to so many. I want to challenge, because there's so many ways of learning, is go back and look and find your own history, or find the history that resonates with you, because that right there, we need stories right now. The legacy series is to encourage stories of of faith, of things that are going to bring the best out in us. And if we look at those people that we can call heroes, such as Reuben and his story. I remember having you on in Service Heroes and telling your story, and I was bawling then, and I'm bawling again watching the story, and when we can look at these, and all of you that are watching right now, what I want you to do is, if you're living in any kind of pain, if you're having any doubt, if you're living and you're saying what and why, what I want to do is turn that frown upside down and smile it away by going and finding those inspirational stories, such as Reuben, going and finding those heroes that you can say, I'm a part of the human family, and they're my brother, they're my sister, and I can get behind those. And then that can maybe give you enough mojo and strength to say, okay, now it's my turn, and find a way to serve another, because that's the best thing we can be doing to celebrate this freedom called 4th of July, Independence Day. And next year it's 250 years.
Yeah.
250
Yeah, 250.
years. That is so exciting when you look at the history, and we are on a precipice right now, guys. And we can either say, okay, you look at the history of the world. Do we want to be like some of them that got to this point and then they let it go? They gave up. They lived fat and sassy or whatever it is. Or do we
Right.
want to buckle our belts and say, okay, we're going to live in it and we're going to keep this thing going because freedom is so important and we believe in it. So, I'm done with my soapbox.
There you go. I mean, that's really good information for everyone. We want you to take note of this. You can go back. That's what's beautiful about E360 TV. I mean, we are on demand. You can watch it anytime, and that's the beauty part. So do that too. And I don't know about anybody else, but it's like when I see something I really like, yeah, it's like stop, write the notes, play again, because this is, I think, really helpful information for our viewers. Absolutely. The bottom line is we have a choice to make. We are celebrating our freedom here in America. And, even though I'm from Canada, and well, yeah, I'm an alien citizen and all that, or resident, it's okay with me because you know what? I know uh, American history better than Canadian history. And I love America, plain and simple. And so, yes, it is. And I love fireworks too, by the way, folks. But some people don't. We know that because it scares pets, right? Definitely scares pets, scares some people. But this is what I'd say about that part. Fear is false evidence appearing real, and we cannot make a breakthrough unless we actually take action. And yes, things might be triggering, and that kind of sucks, but it's being triggered for a reason, okay? And that reason is something that probably traumatic happened to you in the past. And so when you look at that and analyze it and think, why do I act that way, and what happened, and does this really affect me overall, and how would I feel if I let this go, and just start getting your mind in a different thinking mode. This is pattern interrupt, which I think is a fabulous thing. All right, I'll get off my soapbox now. So all right, Ruben, you got
Well,
something to say for us?
yeah, I mean, as you know, I had my experience. I was in Panama 6 months before the Panama invasion, and it was
Wow.
a dark place. I could imagine what it must have been like behind the Berlin Wall by the way that it was, the PDF, the Panamanian Defense Force, Noriega's cronies, they were they were like they were like the mafia. They were
Panamanians.
extorting businesses. They were pimping the prostitutes. The criminals were running. The foxes run the hen house.
Right.
And then when we had the invasion, took out Noriega, and then I went back. I went back 9 months later, and it was like a different place. There was, all the shops were open. There was all kinds of crazy traffic, and there were people, more people that I'd ever seen before. They'd come out. They were that pressure was taken off. That dark entity was gone. And that's when I really understood, what the difference was between having freedom and not having freedom by seeing that. Okay. And
Firsthand.
yeah, I mean, when, during COVID, um, it kind of felt like it did in Panama before Noriega was kicked out, right? It was
Right.
ugly. It was really ugly. And if we don't, when I tell the story about, Francis Scott Key and the that story got out and to Andrew Jackson and that caused them to defeat a larger force and push them down through the out through to the Gulf of Mexico out of Louisiana. I mean, just because they saw the soul of those patriots that gave their lives for that flag. And then like, who does that? But they're there. I mean, I literally saw it in Panama. I mean, there's automatic weapons fire, like I've never seen before. The ground was shaking and guys are just running in the firefight, man. We had 4 dead, 8 wounded, bullets missed me by inches, right? And
Yes.
it was intense. But the guys are just like, they dove right into that. I mean, it's like, come on, you think of, the "Don't Tread on Me" flag, right? I used to joke around that my ancestors designed that flag. Well, come to find out, my on my dad's side, one of my 11 generations back, my aunt was Daniel Boone's, aunt.
Wow.
My mom's side, she chased her heritage back so she could get into the Daughters of the Revolution, and so I had to pull on both sides, right? But that attitude of come and take it, all right. It's kind of, some people think it's kind of scary, but maybe that's a good thing.
Well, yeah, I can.
When you see things like happen in the election, that the people spoke, and that's what keeps us from killing each other, because our way of governing, we actually take the vote, the people's opinion into consideration when we have elections, and that's why we have the freedom. I've been to so many countries, Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador. I mean, these places. I mean, I was in Chile. I was in Egypt right before and right after they overthrew Morsi, and that was crazy, right? I mean,
that's really awesome. So we're kind of getting close. Excuse me. We're kind of getting close to the end of the show. What I'd like to do, though, is to have everybody have 2 minutes before we have to cut the show off here. And so let's start with Veronica and Aaron. Give us your 2 minutes pep talk here. What do you got for us?
So, as far as like what, how we can help people, how we talked about earlier regarding the mindset and thinking positive, Aaron and I both help people to push through trauma that they've been through. We help to uncover what's hidden in the subconscious mind, and it's really tapping deep into the subconscious mind to see what's stopping them from moving forward, and so they can be more free, as we're talking about.
I think the biggest part too, in the work that we've been doing, so it's like we're not really taught how to feel, and the concept of emotions and expressing ourselves. A lot of people look at it as being very negative.
We're having a hard time hearing you there, Aaron.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, fantastic. I'll get closer to the microphone.
Yes,
I usually have a loud voice, but we're on a headset right now, so
you're good.
Depends on what you guys heard. So, again, the concept of just giving people permission to feel, and that's one thing we we teach people, we work with people. It's like, allow yourself to feel what you're feeling. People get so disconnected from their feeling to what they're thinking and seeing what's going on and get distracted in the outside world. Is that let's just stop for a moment and just feel what you're feeling, express yourself. If you're feeling anxiety, you're feeling depressed, acknowledge that. Don't distract yourself from it. And like our society these days is giving us all kinds of things to distract us from what we're feeling, and it's to make us that really like distracts us from our true purpose, our soul. Our soul is the feeling part of ourselves, and so we teach people how to connect with that again. And I think it's very important for people to like express what they feel, no matter what experiences they've gone through. It's all relative. I think somebody's gone through something more traumatic than somebody else, but like whatever it is, that you still feel is okay. So allow yourself to release and feel. But people can help them. That's where we can help them a lot of that, so they can go back to that inner calmness, that peace within themselves.
That's very awesome. Thank you very much, Tamika. You got about 2 minutes, all right? Or
That's awesome.
All right, we love you.
I can tell you all, because I know that Stephen wants me to talk about the micro school. You guys can watch us on live as of August the 11th this year. We will be broadcasting our school days. We have themes for every month, from Black history to American history, Hispanic heritage, spirituality, music. We're going to be learning and embracing a lot of different things and sharing with you guys. But this summer we have an event, and it's a bilingual entrepreneur little bosses event. It's for young people to learn how to financially grow in their lives as well, because I am an entrepreneur mom. And my son, he watches me, and he's only 10 years old, but he makes sauces, and he's having his own brand now, and he wants to showcase that. So I'll be doing that on live in English and in Spanish, because also the micro school will be doing it bilingual, because we speak a lot of Spanish in our home, and I am embraced by other cultures as well. So you guys are going to be seeing us enjoy a lot of new things that we're embracing, because I've connected to a wide source of people in the community all over the world, and I'm ready to coexist with everyone, because a little bit of me is in a lot of you guys, and a lot of you guys are in a lot of me, and we're all one. And the only way I can show it is live. So that's what you're going to be seeing, a lot of live presentation with me, my son, and our micro school starting in
Very good. That is really awesome. So I just want to warn everybody. Yeah, get to us. We'll get you answers. We will. Tim, your final words. What would you share with the viewers?
I am working with and looking for other old souls, indigo children, chosen ones that are being actually targeted to a certain extent by negative forces, negative entities, negative energies, that have negative stuff going on in their life, whether that be from patterns, it could be from curses, hexes, black magic, all different kinds of things. All of those things we can actually remove now. So I've been given the authority and the ability to remove those. So if someone is actually experiencing that, which in essence everyone is to a large degree.
I'm thinking of someone in particular, so I'll make sure that I connect you to. I will.
So you're going to call me back? Is that what you're saying?
No,
so I mean, everyone.
It is a friend of mine, and she definitely feels attacked by the demons for real, and she's been abused, and so I definitely want to connect you to.
And those those types of things we have dominion over, and we don't really release them now. We actually remove them, either annihilate, obliterate, or decimate them, and other things. And we have protections now for everyone that they can do for themselves and for their family members. And it's just a real neat thing that I didn't think that I was going to be involved in. If you would have asked me before 2019 if I would be doing this, I would have no clue.
And
but
here
we're
you are.
doing it. It works, and I guarantee results.
There you go. I know I've tried some of your therapy as well, and it does work. Tamara, close us on out here.
I invite, we're all about service, our teams, and I invite everybody to come and watch our show on Sundays, the Let's Talk Fabulous show on E360 TV, the Fresh Takes channel. You can find us on social media. And also, if you know anybody that is looking to be a part of the community, we do gather typically on Friday nights. So tonight we have an off night in the Buddies, in the Chemo Buddies for Life community. And we're here to serve. Everything that I do is all about service. And so if anything is needed and I can help, just call upon me and I'll be there. There you go.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Friday nights are really fun, folks. I will be back on Monday. Mondays and Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This has been really a lot of fun. We're going to have several of these guests back on just a regular broadcast, one at a time. So we appreciate you. We love you. We hope that you're enjoying your holiday. God be with you. We're praying for you. Peace, love, joy, and safety. Yeah, gotta have safety, right? All righty. Thank you, everybody. Be well, and we'll see you again soon, right?
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Happy 4th of July.
Bye.